So we'll be looking at another Korean Eternity post that came out on the Korean Eternity microsite. So this one's all about chairs and sitting. Suddenly the sitting position and posture change and the legs are buried in the chair. You can kind of see how like the feet are like buried in the chair there and how that doesn't look right. It's like clipping through. And then when you stand up, I stand in the buried chair. Your character like appears in the middle of it. So this is going to be about how to fix all that. Looking at the current state of Pleon Engine, there were issues with sitting down and standing movements. Suddenly the position changed and the awkward sight of the legs being buried in the chair was seen. So why does this happen? This is because each character has a different height and leg length, and size of the chair is also different. Development points for implementing natural sitting, so these are the things that they plan on adding to help your character sit better. Applying these 7 elements will result in much more natural movements. When you use the rest skill, you should be able to find a chair within a 5-meter radius and sit on it. When generating the navigation mesh, the area where the character can move, considering the character's maximum collision box size, there were cases where the chair was inaccessible. I explained the situation to the person in charge and adjusted the chair collision box to make the chair accessible. So there is a large height difference between a small character and a large character. So yeah, there is a height difference between like humans, giants, elves, and like whatever age that you have your character set at, because the age system is basically like a height adjuster for your characters. This diversity allows us to create data assets that can be customized by race and age. So prepare to sit down. When sitting, the direction you look should be towards the chair, that is, the opposite direction you approached the chair. Even if you move to the sitting position using the route finder, there may be a slight error, so this position error is also corrected through interpolation. This process takes about 0.2 seconds to process naturally. And sit down. While playing the sitting motion, slowly adjust the position of your hips to the sitting position of the chair. In the Pleon engine, there was a phenomenon of bouncing when adjusting the height before sitting down, but this was improved by adding additional processing to move to the target position through interpolation during the animation. For the same reason as the starting sitting position, small characters are set to sit in front of the chair, and large characters are set to sit inside the chair. This can also be adjusted by race and age in data asset. So we can see that example down here. You can see a small human character, and you can see that when she's sitting on the chair, she's sitting more towards the front of the chair. And we have a taller giant character, and when they sit down, like they're further back on the chair, it looks like. So you can see how this already looks a lot better than it currently does in our current version of Mabinogi. Although those plants are kind of clipping through the bench. But this is just a test, so I'm sure they'll iron that out. And this was posted by Chair King, so cool avatar. But yeah, this is all about like chairs and like sitting and how all those physics work. So there are finally some new posts on the Korean Eternity section, and we're going to be taking a look at some of them. So we're going to start with this one. I think Mabinogi is a game that requires you to check a lot of things on the screen often. There are many reasons for this. The inventory is unique and the number of skills is just too numerous. However, before focusing on the UI on the screen, I focus on the most basic screen. This has been a frequent topic among relatively new players in the development lab. So I compared it to recent games and considered how I could make Mabinogi's screen more pleasant. So this is all about like field of view and how we can make the screen for Mabinogi better. So here you can see 3 different images of the field of view. So right here they're zoomed in to the back of their character, and then here they're zoomed out a little bit more and you can see a little bit more behind them and in front of them. And then here they're like zoomed way out and you have a good view of Dumbarton. The field of view refers to the field of view on the game screen. This will likely be familiar to those who enjoy taking photos. So if the angle of view is low, the range visible on the screen is narrow. The higher the angle of view, the wider the range visible on the screen. To make it easier to understand, let's look at some in-game example images. So they do have some example images here, and also some example videos, but these videos are taking a long time to load, probably because I'm a North American player and this is on the Korean website. But I have 2 of them loaded up, we'll take a look at those. So here's the first video, and you can see that they're zoomed into the front of their character. And you can see a lot of Dumbarton from here, so a few things have been moved around. You'll notice that the staircase to the town office is a little different, and there's a big staircase going directly up to the magic school now. And also the mailbox is over here instead of over here. So a few small changes to make Dumbarton feel better. But overall it still looks the same. Let's take a look at this. So here you can see them zooming out and zooming in and zooming out. Gives you kind of an example of what it's going to be like and how smooth it is. And for the next video, they're actually going to run down this street of Dumbarton. So this is what it looks like when a new player is entering Dumbarton in Unreal Engine. So yeah, all these videos here are pretty much the same. If you look at the images and videos, you will be able to feel the difference between narrow and wide angles at a glance. So yeah, these are pretty cool. Currently, the live-action version of Mabinogi features a 45-degree field of view. Considering the average monitor size when Mabinogi was first developed, this isn't a particularly unusual figure. However, the problem is that over 20 years have passed. The monitor sizes used by militians have also increased, and the amount of content on systems in-game has significantly increased, resulting in a massive increase in what you can see on the screen. So yeah, that's definitely true. I play Mabinogi with a 24.5-inch monitor because that's what works best for me, but Mabinogi sometimes has trouble on like really big monitors. You'll have to mess with the settings a lot to get it to work right. So first, this narrow field of view needed to be broadened to fit the modern game. However, it'd be problematic if the difference from the screen you're accustomed to while playing was so great that it felt out of place. So yeah, this is pretty tricky. You do have to make like little adjustments like this to make Mabinogi more modern. So yeah, there are these two videos here as well, and I would play them if they weren't loading so slowly, but you can come to the Korean Eternity section and load up these videos, or try and download them. It might take a little while, but you can see them that way. I've tried setting different minimum and maximum angles to ensure a natural change when zooming in and out with the mouse scroll. A closer look reveals that objects in the distance move slightly differently when zoomed in and zoomed out. As I adjusted the angle of view like this, I realized there were more things to consider than simply fixing it to one number. So this is actually a room in Albi Dungeon in Tirnanog. There's also some posts about how they're redoing the boss room and a couple other rooms in Tirnanog completely. I need both a distant view and a closer view for a clearer view of the character, and these two perspectives had to be properly differentiated. At the same time, I had to be careful not to accidentally switch perspectives. If you accidentally scroll in the middle of a hunt and get pulled into a character, you'll be in big trouble. Yeah, that would be bad. And here we can actually get a cool view of Tirnanog. I actually downloaded this video, which you can do by clicking right here and selecting download. So we don't need to wait for that one to load up. Let's pull that up next. Okay, so here's the video of Tirnanog, which actually looks pretty cool. So you can see the fence here, you can see the torches. I like how the fire is blue instead of orange. Like, that looks really cool. It would be awesome to have like a Halloween event here. Like, this looks really good. And here they're zooming in a bit. And here they're zooming out a lot, so you can see how some of the fence here is destroyed. And it looks like there's a wolf or maybe a warg like right out here. So this is just like off to the side of the bank. So yeah, this post has a lot of information about the field of view in Mabinogi and how they're going to make it work with like bigger monitors and stuff. So this is definitely worth checking out. You can come to the Korean Eternity site using Chrome, and it'll translate all this, so you can read it more or less. So let's look at a few more posts in the Eternity section on the Korean Mabinogi website. So we have a few new posts here. There are two videos that we're going to look at. We're going to look at this video and this video. And here we can see some of the NPCs from Bangor. And here we can see Shattering Windmill. So this is what it looks like in Pleon Engine. And this is what it's going to look like in Unreal for Elemental Knight, the Shattering Windmill skill. So Shattering Windmill looks pretty good. I like the new look for sheeps too. And then we have this video here. So on the left side, they're doing like the tailoring skill. And on the right side, they're doing something with a mannequin. And that also looks like it involves using the tailoring skill, because you can see the tailoring skill icon above her head. And here we have a picture of what the Dragon Ruins just outside of Bangor will look like in Unreal. Like, here's the Dragon Ruins. And here are the buildings surrounding it. So this looks really good. I like how you can see all the mountains and stuff off to the side. I'm not sure what that is. It almost looks like a tent or something. Maybe it's just a weird shaped rock. So I'm wondering like what's going on up there. The ground is also pretty flat up there, so maybe there'll be new areas to move on. That'd be kind of cool. But it kind of looks like one of these wooden structures that are kind of around the Dragon Ruins. So that might be what I'm seeing like over here. Let's take a look at another Korean Eternity post. So this one's all about like face shape and all that stuff. So we had to make everything compatible with existing live data, including hair, facial expressions, including eyes and mouth, and facial decorations. And this is what the current basic face looks like. And then down here, a wide face shape that cannot be escaped with pretty hair. So you can see that it still has the same wide face look as this one, but it's a little bit less noticeable because of the long hair. But the wide face shape is still a problem. That's what they're trying to show there. And Eternity basic face shape created based on the live basic face shape. So that's what this is. Even if you increase the number of polygons and touch up the bridge of the nose, is absolutely impossible to create a beautiful face based on the basic face shape. The default face is literally the first thing the user sees. It's the game's first impression. So the face shape created in this way is as follows. So human female character basic face shape created based on a face shape with a high nose. So this is what the faces currently look like, and this is what they have in Unreal so far. And this is a screen under development, and the final image may differ, but this will give you a good example of what things will look like. So this is Pleon Engine, and this is Unreal Engine. And you can see like the difference in the improvements in like the face for the character. Some people may not like the changed look, while others may like the changed look. Can we create graphics that will satisfy everyone? The short answer to that is no. There will probably be players that will like it and not like it. There's always going to be players that are going to disagree and not like the graphical change. But I think they're doing a good job keeping the graphic style as close to a Mabinogi graphic style as possible. What fits the feel of our game? What should we keep and what should we change? So I'm glad they're thinking about all this stuff, because it's impossible to satisfy everyone, to make every player happy with the changes. But I think they're doing a good job making sure that Mabinogi keeps its unique anime look without drastically changing. Okay, so let's look at another Eternity post on the Korean site. So this one's Anchor Rush Chain Slash Development. So this is about like chain blades and how those move and work. I'd like to introduce a work that naturally extended a chain using Unreal Control Rig. So in Pleon, you had to cram all the chain-related bones into the character bone and control them directly. And here you can see what all that looks like from their end, like programming that in. But now that we're using Unreal, let's do it like Unreal. So chain weapons can be separated from the character and managed independently. Plus, if you use the control rig that Unreal kindly provides, chain work becomes much easier, so why not use it? So cleaner, more flexible, more Unreal. Controlling the length of the Anchor Rush chain. So this is going to be about like the Anchor Rush skill specifically. And they talk all about how they did this. And here you can see how all this works. So a structure that is usually easy to control in a control rack, and the reality, so you can see the whole process for this, which is kind of cool. It looks like they're using a Kraken leg for this example here. I guess that would move in a similar way to a chain blade, so it makes sense that they're using that as an example. As above, I figured out that all I had to do was pull it to the target point with the 7 blades and position it. Since there are 7 blades in total, I tried placing the blades one by one from the starting point to the destination. Okay, so like blade 1 going to the target point, this would be whatever you're hitting, the enemy, and you do the same thing for each individual blade. The chain has really stretched to the target position. Sure, there were bugs where each axis was pointing in the wrong direction, but it was still enough to convince me it works. Oh, okay, and you can see what the chain blade looks like here, and then this is what it looks like when it's stretched out. So that work was being done for about 3 weeks after a bit of trial and error. So this is what Anchor Rush looks like in Pleon Engine, sort of. And then this is what it looks like after all this testing. I tried it and it was more natural than I thought. So you can see how smooth that looks. That's really good progress. Still, I was relieved to be able to apply it faster than expected. In fact, the reason it could end so quickly was because the weapon animation system was already implemented. Thanks to that, it was easy to apply because it fit perfectly, and I could focus on increasing the chain without worrying about anything else. For code work, you only need to pass the destination coordinates, and the rest can be done simply like this in the control rig script. Yeah, that's really cool. What if you weren't working with the control rig? Control rig basically takes into account the chain structure and automatically does things like if you turn this bone, the adjacent bone should follow like this, but if you implement it yourself, it's animation hell. It's not impossible to implement chaining without a control rig though, but the difficulty of digging is from software level. Yeah, so this looks like it was a lot of work to do. It's cool to see how this process works for something as simple as one of the many weapons that we use in Mabinogi for like one of the skills. I mean, this is just talking about chain blades and mostly Anchor Rush. Alright, let's play some Mabinogi. So let's see, I have this unlimited veteran filmer pass. I want to use that today or tomorrow probably. Maybe today because I don't know what... Well, as long as we use it before Thursday, because I don't know what events are starting up Thursday. Check the page in about an hour, see if there's any new information. But today we're just gonna do some dailies and get stuff done. I want to get some gold to use up these smoldering thread here. So that's the goal. Let's go find out what the veteran dungeon is today, right away. Wait, that's this way. Cat form. Wait, that's an ancient. We have to take him down. One shot. Okay, Fiat Dungeon. And let's go get the normal daily dungeon as well, since we have an unlimited veteran filmer pass, so we'll probably end up running 2 veteran dungeons today. Yay, big turtle. That's a transformation, an NPC one. Oh, Fiat Dungeon, so I guess we'll get 2 veteran dungeons done at the same time. Well, 2 dungeons done at the same time, because these are both Fiat Dungeon. Maybe I'll save that unlimited pass for tomorrow then. I don't know. Let's go and put that over here. Trying to think how I want to do that. What about Rebirth? Can I do anything like that? Yeah, let's do that. So now what I'm thinking of is, since we're doing a rebirth, I'm going to see what my shadow missions are and do those, and we're going to have Forbidden Alchemist selected, so I can level that up, and maybe we'll try and get into Nowhere to Run at least once. Because I'm still trying to level that for the stats. I know Forbidden Alchemist is not really that good, like it has... A lot of players have complaints about that in both Korea and the NA, like saying that it's not that great, it could be a lot better. So hopefully they'll get revamped, but leveling it is still good for my stats, so that's why. What are my daily shadow missions today? Rescue the scout. That's boring. This one? Lingering darkness. That one's not too bad.
접수하실 분 오세요.
Oh crap, do I not have shadow crystals? One of my other characters got the daily shadow crystal. Well, that's alright. So yeah, let's switch to Forbidden
이
Alchemist.
편지는 제법 잘 썼네. B+.
It's level 31. And I'm gonna use some magic skills. Now let's see if I can get my hands on some unlimited Shadow Mission passes.
이 편지는 제법 잘 썼네.
Random
B+.
items. Oh right, I still have that. That's from something else. Today is a bad luck day. I don't think I got any passes at all, not even for Baltane missions. Crap. Got a lot of gem boxes. Speech bubble stuff. Yeah, this is all no good.
다음 분 접수하세요. 이 편지는 제법 잘 썼네. B+.
Okay, let's destroy all that.
제법 잘 썼네. B+.
There is one other way I can get what I need. We can use the Adventure Seal Shop, which I guess I'll have to do. Getting a Baltane thing is so expensive, though. It's gonna cost me 36 seals in total if I want both. I'll think about the Baltane one. I haven't decided on that for sure. Let's get the Shadow Mission pass, though. And let's get to Tara. Platform. So, enemy behind, lingering darkness. Here we go. I think this is the one where we start out in like the center of Tara, and then work our way out towards the commerce tent area. Wait a minute. Oh wait, that's enemy behind. Yeah, lingering darkness is in the city. Use that. Go and summon that to pick up stuff. Yep, this is the one I was thinking of. So we want to go this way. Those two. They sell for like 700 gold. 700 and something gold. Wait, hang on a second. Maybe it'd be better if I used Battle Astrologer here because of this. I didn't think about those sacrificing circles. Let me take a look here. Oh, that's supposed to... Never mind. There we go. Well, it probably does better than magic would. Be a little bit harder to control them with magic stuff. They don't move around as much when I use that Nova Blast. Yeah, there we go. That's a lot better. I would normally just use that Polar Vortex, but I don't have the Arcana active. Nothing back there. Okay, sacrificing spot there. Let's blast those guys first. It's actually been a while since I've used Battle Astrologer because I've been having so much fun using Arsenal Gunner. One HP, 1 MP, 1 stamina. Oh, 2 HP, 1 MP, 1 stamina. I still don't like how skills auto-level now. I know some other players don't like that too, how it just levels up your skills automatically if you have the AP. You don't even get to really pick which ones anymore and do it manually. I really don't like that. Before that was optional, and now it's just kind of forced on you that, like, no, you have to do it this way now. Kind of sucks. It was a bad decision. I think that was part of the new Rise update. What is that thing still doing that? Get rid of it. Okay, what's over this way? I think there's like one more group and then the boss, unless we missed one back there. Where's that boss at? So that means we missed a group somewhere in town. Let's go find him. Probably over here, right? No? Yeah, I know it can't be there because I checked that spot on my way out. Oh, I never finished this circle. Whoops. That's my bad. Okay, now we're ready. Oh, wait, did it say the boss appeared? We'll find out in a second if it did. No big deal, we got plenty of time. I don't think the boss has appeared yet. Nope. So there's still one more group of enemies somewhere. Maybe there was a group back here. Here we go. These guys. Just gonna make sure. Done. A plague fragment is valuable. That'll sell for something. Sells for like 100k, I think. Yeah. That's valuable. So I need to level up if I'm gonna do that Beltane mission. Maybe I'll just forget about it. I don't think I really... well... Wait a minute, I could get my hands on 3 times Beltane Crystal with this bag. If I wanted to. I know what we can do. Let's go ahead and take that. Let's do Pieka Abyss. I have 2 passes for that. We'll do that to level up a little bit. So for that, I'm just going to use magic and my chain blade. The chain blade will be for the ghosts and stuff that like aren't affected by magic-based skills, because there are a couple of those in there. But we don't need an Arcana to clear that. That's a pretty easy level. It's been a while since I've ran that. Plus now I have Time Shift maxed out, so I can spam Meteor a lot more. Oh, they're already summoned and ready to go. Yeah, these guys are kind of weak. I'm not really getting any XP for taking them down. I don't think that'll apply to all the monsters here. Okay, the Duke is actually pretty easy. As long as we stay away from the center there and focus mostly on the boss. What are you doing? Get out of here. Alright, let's get him. So Thunder will do pretty much all the work. Alright, well, we leveled up a little bit from this. He got me with that one move because I was distracted changing the Mabby playlist. But that's okay. Still pretty easy boss. Like, I would say that the Duke is probably the easiest, like, part of this entire dungeon. Okay, let's get out of here. And let's put this up here. That'll sell for like, what, 710? Yeah. We're gonna sell some stuff. So these boots and this one for 100,000. No, I'm not gonna pay a bank fee. I don't want them taking my gold. Like, I want full price for it. And really quick, I will be right back, and then we'll do something else to level up. Okay, so... So what do I want to do to level up? Do these increase the XP that we get? Or just the additional ducats? No, it just gives us additional ducats, okay. Nah, I think we'll call it good for leveling up Forbidden Alchemist. We're just gonna get into the Veteran Dungeon and do that. Like, I don't care. We're not gonna do the, Nowhere to Run mission today. I don't feel like it. Besides, tomorrow I'll be getting a Forgetful Potion anyway, right? Like, this will have a Forgetful Potion. So we can just reset our level and go into, like, Nowhere to Run tomorrow and level it up a lot. So we'll just do that. That's just easier. Okay, so dual guns. And then staff. Anything need to be repaired? No, we're good. Okay, let's go to Fiat Dungeon. And clearing this will count for both the Daily Dungeon and the Daily Veteran Dungeon quest, because they're both Fiat Dungeon today. I love Arsenal Gunner, it's definitely one of my favorite things. Alright, let's clear this. Oh, and I want to open up that so I can see how long the Gunner's Crest has. I'm going to use that. And speed potion, because why not? Key down here. A little bit lower. Wow, the game's being really picky about that right now. I said lower, not... No, not there. Right there. Sometimes the game is like picky about where you move stuff. Which is a bad match for me because I'm also very picky about where I put certain stuff on my UI. Alright, time for the boss. So we have some flying swords. We're gonna use some meteor. I use 6 of them to be exact. This once, and then 5 more times with time shift. And one more time. Alright, so now let's get him with this. Hey, we got all the shots in him, nice. Got him. At the time that Frost Dragon freeze, right? Or you have knocked me down before I finish that attack. And the golem's down. Because the bullet barrage will not knock the golem down. He's strong enough to actually just tank that. So you gotta think of another way to like immobilize them so they can't stop you. Let's get this guy out of here. 22 minutes and 2 seconds. I never really paid too much attention to like the symbol on the door here. I wonder, I'm sure that's probably based off like some form of like Celtic mythology or something, but I wonder what that design is. Looks pretty cool. Maybe it kind of looks like a tree almost. Wonder what else there is on this doorway. I mean, there's some symbols and stuff. It almost looks like this is a tree, like a demon tree or something, because it's a pillar that keeps going up. It has like lines in it that makes it look like it could be wood, and then like it looks like it could have like eyes and a mouth right here. And then these are like the branches that go out to form like the leaves on top and all that. The branches. Alright. Oh wait, we actually need to exit this way. And both the daily dungeons are done. I think we'll do commerce for most of the rest of the stream. But there are 2 things I want to do first. One of the things that I kind of want to do is turn these into a spirit weapon, but then again I don't know what I want to name it yet though. That's the problem. I had name ideas for all my spirit weapons on a sticky note somewhere. I wonder if I can find that. And also I want to check the Mabinogi website to see if there's any new news. So on like the, I think the 12th for South Korea, they're going to announce the information about the 2 new Arcana, so you can expect like a video from me on like the 12th or the 13th when they release that page, because I'll go over that entire page and translate it and like read the descriptions of the skills and stuff. Looking forward to that. Alright, really quick, I'll be right back while I see if there's anything new on the main website. Okay, there wasn't any new information on the main website, but I do kind of want to name that spirit weapon. I can't find my old sticky note that had all my spirit weapon names. I was originally going to name the tiger claws for my knuckles, like Sekhmet's Rage, I think, but I ended up giving that one to my chain blade because, Yeah, maybe we could go with... Okay. I think I know what I want to do. We're gonna... hop back in the game. Let's go see Burchid. I want to make that spirit weapon. I want to do that today. Because I want to get started on it. Because like spirit weapons take a long time to level up. And I think that Arcanas, those two new Arcana is probably going to reach the NA by like August sometime. So I think mid to late August we'll get the new Arcana. That's what I think so far, because it's coming out in like February. And we usually get their content about 6 months after. So that would put us like in August somewhere. Okay, spirit weapon, spirit contract. Oh, I need some elemental remover. Okay. I think I can pick that up from the Turconail Magic School, so we're gonna go there next. So do you have elemental remover? Yeah, you do. I think I needed, what, 5? So we'll take those. And then we'll go back to Burchid. I should use up some of those pet whistles too. Do some fin syncing and stuff. Clear up some inventory space. What was that pet anyway? Ooh, I do kind of want to keep the idiot treasure map whistle though. I don't really want to sacrifice that one, so I guess the name would be important. Okay, so these knuckles, and we need the spirit stone and the elemental remover that we bought. It'd be cool if they could update the spirit weapon art. Like, these old ones are nice, but it'd be nice to have like more options and like updated pictures when we move over to Unreal. More options. Actually, for artists, it'd be a really cool idea if like players could upload their own like art as like pictures for their spirit weapon somehow. That might be possible in Unreal. Because like in MapleStory 2, they had like things where you could actually pay like a little in-game currency to like display your art in like certain places and towns and stuff. So it's not like that. It's not like something like that would be impossible when we move over to Unreal. Let's go with that one. I call it Secondet's Claw or Secondet Claws. Let's go with that one. Okay, so what kind of enhancements do you have? What's the ultimate? Combo skill, attack speed. Oh wow. So that really takes up your combo attack speed, your combo skill attack speed for stages 2 and 3. So not like the first move, but like the second combo and the third combo. That's cool. I don't think I can feed her yet because anything is going to basically... Well, I guess we can take her halfway to the level. Oh, whoops. No, I guess that... Okay. Performs additional attack to 100 centimeters with 4% damage of the base attack of Focused Fist. Which of those skills can be Dan ranked again? I think I have them all maxed out. Focused Fist isn't one of them. Okay, but yeah, everything is Dan 3. Everything that can be, at least. Alright, well, I'll work on that spirit weapon slowly until the update. I'm gonna start putting most of my focus on that one. Let's go to Dumbarton, maybe do some trading from there. We're gonna do some commerce next. I think that's what the rest of the stream is gonna be about. We're gonna do like maybe 30, 40, maybe even an hour worth of commerce. We'll see. Let's pop over here. Oh, how much gold do I have? I'll use this pass tomorrow, I think. We have like 5. Okay. 500,000. So yeah, I'll do some commerce and then we'll make some crests after after we finish with that. And really quick, I'll be right back and then we'll start doing some commerce runs. Hey, here it is. Here's the new announcement post I was looking for. I was just a little too early. So the Cookie Island event is returning. I'm actually looking forward to this. Like, I participated in the first one, actually, a long time ago. I still have my broom pet from that. I think this comes with a fishing event too. Deliver sugarfish, yeah. So there's like a fishing event with this one as well, so a lot of fishing. The giant gingerbread man. I wonder how easy that boss will be these days. Like, this is an old boss. Like, this is from before we even had Arcana. So I'm wondering if, like, Arcana will just, like, wipe him out in a couple seconds. I hope they scaled this boss up a little bit. Otherwise, he's not going to be a challenge at all. So I'm wondering how they'll handle that. What do we have here? So it looks like these are new. So new outfits. And then in the sugar, sweet, and savory gift boxes, you can get these rewards. Oh, I guess there are like 3 different kinds of gift boxes, and each one has its own stuff. So like homestead props, old outfits, gems, potions, all that typical stuff. Which one has the Koopa gems or homestead items, because those are... Like, the homestead pancake and Koopa prop was kind of rare, so it's good that they're bringing that back. That one's kind of pricey in the auction house, I think. Yeah, Super Koopa mini gem. So that one's in the sugar box. Wait, what about the Koopa transformation medal? There's actually a transformation medal to become one of them. Is that still included? Because that's from the original event. Maybe it's in the savory box? No, I'm not seeing it. Maybe it's not. Anyway, it looks like the big prize is the new outfits. Let's click to see the idle animations. Even if you don't want the outfits, the idle animations alone might be worth it. That one's alright, I guess. Let's see what the other one looks like. Is it basically the same thing, or is it different? Okay, this one's... Okay. So there you go, there's the two idle animations for that. Here it is, here's the original one. I think the first one was in 2016. So yeah, this is a pretty old event. I just wanted to see how old this was, because I remember doing this a long time ago. A lot of like candy weapons and stuff. Where did the transformation medal come from then? Like, there's a transformation medal to turn into one of these little guys. They're monsters in the snack tent that's part of this event. I think the transformation one turns you into the strawberry one. Not listing the transformation? Well, at least I can pull it up in game, because it's still in the diary, the transformation diary. But yeah, there's a Koopa transformation, but I don't remember where it like comes from. Maybe it's not from the event, I don't know. Like maybe it was like in a gacha or something that was running alongside it at the time. But yeah, 2016, that event is about 10 years old. And we've had it like, I don't know, 3-4 times. Alright, let's do some commerce. Let's take this to core, we'll make a big run. After all, when the New Life update comes out over here... When the New Life update comes out over here, we're going to have the ship times reduced, so... If I have a long ship time wait, that means I can just enjoy the memory of dreadful ship times before that changes, so that'll be fun. I'm really excited for the New Life update. It actually looks like it's promising. I hope it's not going to be a disaster like New Rise was. His New Rise looked good too, but it turned out to be kind of bad. Ooh, long wait time. Yeah, even if I went... No, even if I went all the way to Port Cian, by the time I got there, I couldn't guarantee how long I'd have to wait there. By the time I got there, like, that will probably take over 3 minutes. Yeah. I guess we'll just have to wait. Well, that's okay. Xanafiedlion needs achievements for minigames anyway, so... Been a while since I've worked on these minigames. I wonder if I've lost my skills for these puzzles. Oh wait, I have it all the wrong way. There. Okay, so we're in Idia now, at Quilla. What are the... like, what options do we have? I didn't really switch to Dark Diviner, did I? Oops. I'll do that at the end of this run, if I make any more runs after this. But yeah, still worth the most in core, so that's where we're going right now. This is gonna expire unless I use these, so I'm gonna try and use those up. We'll use that speed potion too. And I don't think I have any of that warding candy. Okay, so we're good to go. Alright, so good news is this is still worth 517 here. So we're gonna sell that. Make a lot of ducats. How much of that coracle rubber do they have? I don't want to take that overseas, but maybe I'll sell that Inquilla or something. 658 Inquilla? Yeah, we'll do that. That's fine. It's not worth taking back to Ulad. Not with how long those ship times take. The only way I'm taking it to Ulad is if the price drops drastically by the time we get to Quilla. And we need another one of those speed potions. The big reason why I'm doing some commerce today is to get rid of those speed potions. We also kind of need veteran level bandits too. Like, master bandits are weak. Especially if you have an Arcana. Like, I'm beating them with just Thunder alone. I'm not even using an Arcana. These guys aren't even master level. Like, overall, I do think Arcana is, like, a good thing for Mabinogi. I think it's a smart idea. I like the Arcana talents overall. But the problem with it, the only problem with it is that older content it makes older content way too easy. Like, Commerce, Shadow Missions, and older versions of Ulad dungeons, Idiot dungeons, Castle dungeons, like, all of those need to be updated with, like, enemies scaled up to, like, match the new Arcana. And the only thing I'm kind of annoyed about is that like Choi Dong-min, the current Korean director of Mabinogi, seems to be focusing all his attention on pushing people into like hard mode advanced dungeons, veteran dungeons, and like and then the end game dungeons, while ignoring the older dungeons and content that clearly need updating. Because like the new stuff is important, sure, but like so is the old stuff. Why are we not updating that? It's not even that hard. You just have to scale the enemies up and change like the ranks of things, like I said in my dungeon video. It's like you just make veteran the new normal difficulty for dungeons, and then you just make the enemies go up from there. Because realistically, it doesn't take long to be able to take on veteran dungeons. And you can still have like you could have story dungeons be super easy and stuff like that in the story, because you have to do story to clear the 4th memoir, right? So like you can still make the dungeon runs for the story dungeons as easy as you want. They can be, that doesn't matter, like that's just story content. What really matters is the like the overall dungeon difficulty when you're just doing normal runs. Like, I don't even think most players play Mabinogi for the story, honestly. Some do, but like overall, story is kind of a secondary thing to a lot of players, I think. I've heard rumors since like the last fantasy party, or maybe it was the winter showcase, that they do have some plans to like update Idiot Dungeons somehow, so I'm curious what that's about. But I don't know exactly what they have planned for that, so I'm kind of keeping my eye out. So I'm hopeful that eventually they're just going to update like all the older versions of dungeons and finally make them relevant again, because they shouldn't be forgotten. They are unique. All you have to do is scale up the monsters to fit the new power levels of new players, and then adjust the rewards in the end chests, and that's it. It's super easy. It's not like we're asking them to redesign the dungeons from scratch and come up with completely new levels and art designs and all that. Like, no, this is just simply adjusting the rewards and like scaling the monsters like a more appropriate level for the players that are now at a higher level of strength. Because like 7 to 10 years ago, dungeons were actually a challenge. Like, I remember about around 7 years ago, like, doing an advanced dungeon would still be really difficult because we didn't have Arcana back then, and players couldn't just get to level 20k from doing Blanted stuff. But, like, that's changed now, and, like, older content needs to be updated to reflect that. I think, like, the most annoying thing about it for me anyway is that it's a really easy change too. It's not a difficult change. Like, it's being neglected, but it'd probably be one of the easiest updates they could ever do, right? All they have to do is simply like scale monsters up to be a little bit stronger, so they're actually a challenge for newer players and how fast newer players are leveling up. And then you just adjust like the end chest rewards a little bit. I mean, it seems like it's a pretty small update. So it's kind of annoying that's being neglected when it's considerably easier than building a new endgame dungeon or adding new Arcana talents. Okay, so that still sells for 658 here. Nice, we ranked up a little bit. What's that? No. Hey, cool, we can get some reduction candy, reduced bandit encounters. When does this one end? On March 5th? Okay, I think we're gonna call it good on commerce for today. And we have... So I think we should be able to process 60 out of 80 of those smoldering threads, which will be pretty good. That's gonna be most of them. So let's get to the association room. That's the homestead. Here we go. Oh, and this guy must be the alchemic sharpshooter. Right, okay. That's why there's a question mark there, because we haven't done his thing yet. Interesting, okay. Yeah, 60. So we need 200,000 more to get the rest of those done. Wait, how many do we have here? Okay, we have more than enough of the Scorching Crests. It's okay if I make more because I still have like one more link after I unlock this one, but now we need 13 more of those Ice Scorched Crests. 13 more. So what I want to do is buy some Frost Flame thread, which is pretty cheap. The expensive part of the Frost Flame thread is actually turning it into the crests, the Ice Scorched Crests. Like, I mean, here we can get, like, a lot of them for super cheap. Here, we're just gonna purchase 33 of them. And then, when do these expire? 4 days? Yeah, that's fine. So on Thursday, we'll do, like, most of our tech runs, and we'll get a lot of those turned into threads. Hey, my fine leather finally sold. I knew that would, those prices would bounce back if I waited a little bit. Let's put these right up here. I can prioritize getting these turned into crests next, since they're expiring pretty fast. I need to start buying fine leather again on Mondays. I keep forgetting to do that because I don't stream Mabinogi on Mondays. The other thing I gotta do for those knuckles is find enchants for them and do some upgrading, I guess, and reforging. To get a reforge, we'll reforge those knuckles. Huh, sure is pretty empty these days. What, don't NPCs sell reforges anymore? Maybe, maybe not since the change, I don't know. Let's kind of just reforge these like that, or... Okay. No, I don't want something like that. Hey, here's something. Big strength increase, 30 strength increase. Lightning bolt min damage goes up a little bit. Okay. That strength increase is nice. We got lucky with that. Had that special little glowing thing and everything, so that was a lucky one. Yeah, 30 extra strength, that's worth it. The bolt damage and the other thing for like taunt defense and magic defense, like that's nothing. It's mostly the strength increase that's worth that. Alright, well I think that's good enough for today, for Mabinogi stuff, so we're gonna do some veteran runs tomorrow, probably 2 of them, and do dailies and other stuff, maybe a little bit of commerce, I don't know. But Thursday will be the big day, because that Cookie Island event is coming back, and that's the day I can run my techs and all that. So that's the plan for now, and we will be playing, I'm going to start SpongeBob, the Patrick Star game today, in a little over an hour from now, so at 7:30 PDT.